Ota underscore 8 here, aka Pasta Sauce 89.
A dropship flew overhead. He hoped they hadn't noticed him. The kid.
We're here with stories. And then release the throw. Got it. See ya. I'm really liking this little game. I downloaded it. It was free, I believe, one of the months.
Oh,
yeah.
right. The Gate of Heroes.
I just grabbed it. I don't think I
Someone's
gave it a
idea
chance,
of a
but I'm
joke,
really liking it.
making the
It's cool
Skyship
little,
Docks a gated community.
I guess what would you call it?
You
Like
needed
an indie
a
game?
hero's sword to open it. And the kid was on the other side of the gate. Who let you through? Promise me you'll take
Just
the book to the
making a
rebels.
quick little gameplay.
Or I'm gonna steal your ship. I'm not taking that damn book anywhere.
Just
And
to show
neither are
you guys
you. Try and stop me.
kind of a little bit of what it's
Kid.
about.
I bet you don't even have a hero sword. And with that, the kid hopped away. Had to hand it to the kid. He was an idiot, but he had guts. Where was Renata going to get a hero sword?
From over here. Oh, what do we got here?
Ore and wind essence? That sounds about right. I'll need a workshop, though. Perfect.
There's crab in here. You can grab upgrade powerful magic swords. Grab the required materials from the chest scattered throughout the floor. So his special power in this level.
A hero sword. QED.
Okay. So that's pretty cool.
This is what he got for settling down and finding people to care about. The kid's mum had been a swell cook, and she'd laughed at Renato's jokes, even when he didn't know we'd made one. And then the ravens had come to burn her. And she'd made him promise to protect the kid. But she never told him where the book was. Just the kid. He came up to a ledge. It was too far to jump. Bridge here before, hadn't there? And there was Peter, giggling at him. How'd you get across? He asked the kid. Where'd you find a hook? I hopped, said the kid. Wise-ass kid. Hey, look out behind you.
He's a bunny.
Said Renato. Ah, ravens. It was time to
I really like the fighting style. It's very fun.
He took his way
Simple.
across the ledge and chased the kid down. Thing was, he hadn't used his hook since he'd retired. Damn it. Maybe if he meditated at that altar there, he'd remember his old skills.
Okay. Skills. Each time you gain a level, you also gain a skill point. Spend your skill points at the altar scattered throughout the Boreas. Here's your map, where you can find the description of each skill in the game.
It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot. like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember. And there was the Farfarer. She was the fastest ship he'd ever known. She could do the Kestra run in 12 furlongs. Oh, so the salesman had told him. And someone told him the kid was about to walk into an ambush. "Stop!" he shouted. "I'm not giving you the book!" shouted the kid. Took off. "No! Peter!" But the kid ran for it. And a goggler nailed him with its eyepiece. The book was unburned. Next to it were the buckles from the kid's shoes.
Oh, damn.
And a kid-sized pile of ashes. Damn it. Why hadn't he lied and told the kid he'd take the book to the rebels? The kid would be alive now. Really pissed off and betrayed, but alive. Oh, damn it. Renato picked up the book. He couldn't let the Empire have it now. He was going to have to get it out of there. He'd be a wanted man. Probably have to join the rebellion just to have a place to dock. Well, he'd hated home life anyway.
Wish they would have given me a lot more. No, I need ore, guys.
What was the big deal about this book, anyway? Maybe he should open it and find out. All that had been years ago. How many? The war was a blur. And now 3 Raven scout ships were chasing him. "Where are you running, rebel?" cawed the Raven captain over the loud hailer. Renato could see them cranking up their catapults. "Just going out for milk?" Renato yelled back. "Where can you run?" laughed the Raven horribly. Far behind him, another city was burning. The dark cloud above its island was thousands of Imperial ships. The fleet was doing a thorough job. "Terrorists to the rebel base! I will spare your life!" it cawed. The entire jury-rigged rebel fleet was only a few islands to the east. Beyond that were only the pillars of heaven. A sea of endless blood-colored tornadoes. The rebellion was out of time. Unless Renato could bring a game-changer. Maybe he could. Renato had found out where he could find the pieces of the Sky Ripper, the legendary weapon that had exiled the lost gods. Surely a legendary weapon could win the final battle. On the other hand, his old friend Lapino had sent Renato a desperate message saying he had a brilliant scheme to save the rebellion. If Renato could only rescue him. Renato dived the Farfarer towards the abyss. As he felt the heat of the jet stream, the Raven ships peeled off. Not stable enough to follow him down there. Now it was time to choose. Lapino or the Sky Ripper. Lapino.
Let's go save a friend.
Apparently, the Mad Rabbit had sold a Pegasus that he did not exactly own. Lapino always wiggled out of trouble, given time. But he was out of time. The Ravens had figured out that Lapino was a rebel spy. If the fleet reached him first, they'd string him up for that. Never mind the winged horse.
Shout out to Stealth Vape Pen, guys. STLTH. It's a nicotine vape pen.
Lapino had apparently managed to confuse the judge by arguing that he hadn't actually stolen the winged horse. He'd only sold it. But wait, where was the prison? The village was empty. Had everybody fled the Ravens?
I don't know, we're gonna check it out, boys. Just cutting up some flour. We got some UK cheese. Beautiful flour. Definitely cheesy. Stinky feet. Some people are a little turned off by it, but in my experience, any cheese strain, it's always usually very potent. Very enjoyable.
Renado's blood was up.
I am Italian, so I love cheese. I love the smell of it. I love the taste of it. Alright. What do we got here? Fire essence. Gems. Gem socketing. With this gem socketing menu here, you can equip powerful gems that will augment both your offensive and defensive capabilities. Now it has 3 sockets into which you can put gems. Select one of these sockets to see gems. Each gem has 3 levels, and its effect increases with each level. Picking up a gem you already have will automatically upgrade that gem to the level. You can find gems in the chest scattered through areas. If you're lucky enough, excuse me. Attack speed, critical chance. Okay, so we haven't found any gems yet. Let's go. Okay, well.
Good thing Renato didn't have vertigo. The Ravens had taken the town. Renato had seen villages empty like this. All the people taken away to be sacrificed in the Emperor's secret rituals. Renato hoped the people were just hiding. Firewalls only let you through if they think you're hot enough.
This guy definitely, he sounds like the guy, the narrator from Little Big Planet almost, so I wonder. I like him. Come on, guys, give me some materials. My health is full. What is this? Let's see. We don't have any skill points. Do we? Okay, there we go. We might have enough to. this door. Oh shit.
Come over here.
I love the fighting. It's
Ravens were
badass.
landing everywhere.
Jeez.
The advance guard. He'd better get moving. If they got to Lupino first, they'd eat him for breakfast. Or a snack. Ravens weren't picky. If they got hungry, they sometimes forgot to interrogate their prisoners. Even top spies like Lupino. Where had the mad rabbit got to?
Ooh, that was a good one. Wind essence.
Bernardo felt like he was ready to learn new things. Thank goodness he didn't have to go to school for that. It was starting to come back to him. Something you never completely forgot, like how to freeze time when attacking. The more he fought, the more he'd probably remember.
Oh man, so good.
Bernardo felt a chill run down his back. Or possibly a flea. Coming back to him. He wondered what he'd remember next.
I don't think I lost any health there. Oh yeah, I did actually. I got hit once. I lied. Oh.
Dirty and bloody, Bernardo finally reached Lupino. The rabbit was practicing his shuffle. Bernardo recognized the cards. It was Lupino's favorite deck. Oh, I thought you were in danger. I am. The ravens are coming. Oh, the prison thing. Right, yeah, we see this guard owed me 53 ducats, so we made a deal. They're very reasonable people, actually, for weasels. Now, I got a brilliant plan to kidnap Zenobia.
We capture Zenobia, we find out what she knows, and that's the whole war right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Capture the Emperor's greatest general, who also happened to be a deadly sorcerer, and oh, his only daughter? That would be worth it. On the other hand, he could still get to the core of the Sky Ripper, even if he couldn't get the whole thing. It must have great power. Sky Ripper, the transcendent Emperor, had wrapped an armature around the eye of a god. Bernardo had already let that armature slip away to save Lupino's life. But even its core, the eye torn from a god, surely they could fashion a great weapon from that.
The core of the Sky Ripper. Lupino's excited. That's an actual thing that we could just go and get. You've been busy.
He sure had. Bernardo told him all the things he'd been up to. Soon they got to talking about old times, about wages they'd won and lost, and scrapes they'd barely got out of. It was good to be back with his friend. Bernardo grinned. He had a very good feeling about this.
Alright.
It's beautiful here, thought Bernardo. He was thrilled to be back with his old war buddy. He'd missed the mad rabbit, but something was not quite right.
Alright, we're about to take a big toke here, boys and girls. Hopefully, ladies and gents. What's this? Okay, nothing I can get apparently. Excuse me. Hopefully we'll find a workbench soon. Can definitely craft ourselves a new sword. A fire one, I'm gonna say for sure. See what up here has to offer first. Oh, what's this? Oh, wants to jump down. Okay. Matteo. How was your hot dogs? Were they shit?
There was something sour in the air. Like the earth had ruptured over something that had been fermenting for a very long time. I wonder what I could make with all these sword crafting materials, thought Renato.
I'm good. I'm stoned. Fuck.
Renato felt wrong all over. He could feel an almost palpable sickness in the air. And if the land could have tumors,
Holy.
it would look like these monstrous crystals. The forest was quieter than it had been.
You,
Were insects,
Mr.
a
Yawner
few
McYawnans.
birds, if he didn't count the ravens. Renato smelled sick animals and dying ones, but no healthy ones. And getting a bad feeling about this, Renato thought. Maybe Lapina was right. Maybe they should have kidnapped Zenobia instead of coming here.
What'd you say about my mama?
New power.
Oh yeah, finished. Oh yeah, long time. In a galaxy far away, bro. Alright, what are you doing tomorrow? Yeah. Alright, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
As he held the radiant icosahedron,
I don't even know, dude.
Renato felt queasy. Like dozens of tiny worms were nibbling his insides. It wasn't healthy to be so close to the eye of a god.
Yeah, I
How
might take you up
could
on
he
that for
use
sure.
it? He could take it to the observatory. The scientists there
Okay.
could tell him how to harness its ancient
Yeah, have a
power.
good night.
But honestly,
Peace, bro.
Renato ached to get away from it. He brought the core back with him to the Farfarer. But
This
honestly,
game is awesome.
Renato
I'm really
ached to be
enjoying
rid
it.
of it. Tell you what,
I don't know about you
said
guys.
Lapina. I'll take it to the observatory. You attack the Imperial outpost. The Imperial outpost was a vital communications system.
Get
Taking
decisions.
it could shatter the Empire's ability to coordinate. And it would be full of secret plans and maps and maybe even rebel prisoners. It was a good target for a hero like Renato. But what if Lupino got the core and then broke it, or lost it, or worse? Was Renato ready to take that risk? Maybe it was better if he brought the core to the scientists himself.
Trust me, Renato, you won't regret this. I'll treat the core like it was my own baby daughter.
As the Farfarer dived towards the Nexus,
buddy.
Lupino was jumping up and down with excitement. "Stop rabbiting around," Renato said. Lupino just stared at him. The moment the ship landed, Lupino leapt off the ship.
I hope we can trust this guy, guys. People, I hope we can trust him.
As Lupino vanished into the wilds of the Nexus, Renato vaguely remembered Lupino had a baby daughter, didn't he? And he told her mother he was going out to get some Easter eggs, and he'd never come back. But Renato was relieved not to carry the core anymore. He was already feeling better. And who knows, maybe this time Lupino would get it right. And if Renato could take the outpost, he'd have access to all the Empire's communications in the sector. Right?
That's cool. Right.
What did you do if one of these platforms stalled?
I don't know. That's nice. That's the most of I got out of one. Two. Moving up in the world here. Oh, almost didn't see it, buddy.
When Renato went to the china shop, for some reason the owner was always nervous.
See, last time we didn't go the other way.
Who needed bridges anyway?
Oh, awesome. Because we can't open that ice door. What a beautiful levels these guys designed. This is nice. Okay. Avoid the warlock's firestorm. It will damage everyone once it explodes. bitches. You hear him laughing? That's awesome. Yeah, I think we might have needed that health. Shit. No, we don't want to go on that. Awesome. Now
Renato caught his breath. His joints still hurt, but he didn't feel the poison in his system anymore. He'd let the armature slip out of his hands to save his friend Lupino.
Finders keepers.
Of course he had to let Lupino take the core. The rebellion needed every man doing his duty. And the rabbit would be no good taking on an Imperial outpost, right?
Exactly.
A crafting bench.
Finally.
Renato wondered what he could make with it.
Oh no, what do I want to do?
This burning sword from the south was terrific for barbecuing sausages and ravens.
I just need 6 more ores now. Damn. That's a big chest there, jeez. Oh, okay.
Renato took the outpost with a song in his heart. Soon, he was stuffing his sack with key messages from and to the fleet. One message caught his attention. A high priority order has been given by the Emperor himself to locate something called the Iblis Stone. It was somewhere on a desert island. Renato had a bad feeling about this. Iblis was the name of one of the lost gods. If the Emperor was diverting ravens to search for it, maybe he should try to find it first. Then the Farspeaker Toad chortled a new message. The observatory had been sacked by ravens. Lupino and all the scientists had been taken to the mountains. Why? Why had he trusted Lupino again? And now the Empire had the core. Renato hailed
Wasn't
the
his
rebel
fault.
base to warn them. But their Farspeaker didn't crouch back. Was the base under attack too? was going on at the base. But he knew what the Ravens would do to Lapino if Renato didn't rescue him fast. What are old friends for, if not to need rescuing every few days?
Alright.
Renato
This is
felt a
really
twinge
enjoyable,
of
guys.
doubt. Should he
Beautiful
have gone
little
to the
fun
base?
levels, but there's a lot to
No.
explore.
Logically,
that
wherever
it
they'd taken
doesn't
Lapino
really
was
give you
probably
time,
where
or,
they
like,
took
I
the
don't know if
core,
I'm doing something
right?
wrong.
Oh, why couldn't Lapino have just, for once, not got himself captured? Was that too
Different
much to
There's
ask?
different ways to go.
He shouldn't be
Each
too hard on the
level, looks
rabbit.
like, or,
He
I
meant
don't know.
well, and he was insanely brave. You had to admire that.
Oh, I admire it. Alright. Cheers, guys. Okay.
If I craft a sword now, it's going to be really short.
Damn it. Hopefully we can get some here and come back.
Barely landed a claw on him.
The good, the bad, and something there. Nice. Oh, here's what they were defending. So we definitely have enough now. Excuse me, guys. Let's do this. Nice. I can recover health now. Nice.
Sharp? Check. Pointy? Check. Flexible? Check. What else do you need in a sword?
So yeah, it's really cool. Kind of alternate your powers with your swords. Okay. Nothing this way. One thing, they should have some music on. They could have.
Smashing things was fun.
But I guess now the kids for energy, nice. Never seen that before. Okay, so we can go there, we can go there. I wonder what we need to open these doors.
Hero wall. Hero sword. Ice wall. Ice. Cube.
What's up, boys? Alright, we're going this way again.
This was definitely better than pulling yourself up in a bucket.
Anger management.
Where were they holding Lapino anyway? There was no sign of him or the ravens who'd captured
that's
him.
Awesome.
Just rocks and snow and the usual scouts. No sign of the core either. Was this a wild rabbit chase? Oh, trust Lapino to screw up even getting captured. But what was this rebellion for anyway? Well, Lapino was a useless goof. But he was a friend. If friends didn't matter anymore, what was the point of winning this war? Bernardo's paws were getting numb. Calaveras really didn't want company, did he? Hoped his hook didn't break.
Nice, I suppose. Definitely. Oh, what's this?
Bernardo thought about the intel he'd gathered from the outpost. Who would he bring it to? Who even had time to read it? At the end of the mountain path, Bernardo came to a clearing. There was a campfire, raven feathers, and... oh, Lapino's lucky deck of cards. Well, that wasn't good. Bernardo hoped Lapino would not try to cheat his captors at cards. Ravens were much better than weasels at counting, and they had a very poor sense of humor. Then, he saw what he had hoped never to see. Fresh scraps of rabbit fur. Ragged and bloody, ravens would eat anything. By Grabthar's hammer! Bernardo screamed at the sky. I will avenge you! The rebels had assembled their fleet. Ahead, the clouds were dark with Imperial ships. If he could reach the Emperor before the rest of the rebels did, maybe he could settle this without too much bloodshed. He set sail, and the Farfarer shot forward. Poor Lapino had never been a great warrior. The mad rabbit was good for a lark and a laugh. And a pint. The thought of ravens eating him made Bernardo furious. The way they were eating up the land. The way the Emperor was eating up the people with his new, bloodthirsty ways. He would make them all pay.
missed his old skills. He welcomed them back like he was at a reunion. Yeah!
Like he was at a reunion.
Do it, said Renato to himself.
Love it.
Of all the artisans he was creating employment for. Truly, he was a job creator. Renato wondered what would happen if he jumped. Would he be rescued by an emergency platform?
Definitely not my best there. I want one of those red chests.
He'd once been a pirate captain. He used hooks to get around his ship. What was his name? Hey, I'm a firefox, thought Renato.
Oh no. I die. Well, that's the first time.
Can't we just agree to disagree? Said Renato. No? every objective to save his friend. He had given up the armature, the core, the gem, and even Zenobia. He loved Lupino, he realized. And now the rabbit was gone. A hero looks out for his friends, even when they're gone. He would send Lupino an honor guard of ravens to serve him in the halls of the Valiant. He would avenge him.
It's just a beautifully done game.
That hurt!
Even though I'm almost dead. Well. Okay, so that was fun too. It's fun little puzzles.
Don't look down, he told himself. Don't look down.
It's not good. Dual shock is getting low. Let's see if we can fix that problem.
Finally, he reached the Emperor's ship. And there was Lupino, surrounded by ravens.
Nice.
He was alive. They'd eaten some other rabbit. I'll save you! He shouted with joy and flung himself at the ravens. Oh, you shouldn't have, said Lupino when the last raven was down. Renato threw his arms around his best friend. I had to come. I love you, man. You really, really shouldn't have. said Lapino. And Renato felt a rather sharp pain in his back. As he collapsed, Lapino took the dagger out of Renato's back and wiped it off on Renato's sleeve.
Wow.
Why?
You always have to be the hero. Brave Renato, epic Renato, super sexy Renato, and I'm sick of it.
But I loved you.
And you thought I was the idiot, said Lapino as Renato died. Okay, that was weird. He could have sworn he just died. Instead, he was on the Farfarer, sailing away from Ubar. And it was still burning. He'd fled burning Ubar years ago, hadn't he?
That's cool.
And now he was back there. Had all
So
those
I
years
was just
fighting the
playing
Empire
Burly
been nothing but a
Men.
vision into the future?
And it almost
A
has...
useful vision if it was true.
This is definitely
He
a lot
learned
more
something.
fun, but...
Lapino was a traitor. Renato had suspected there was something wrong with the Mad Rabbit. But now he knew there was malice behind his goofiness. He'd made bad choices. But now, when the real battle came, he wouldn't make those choices. He wouldn't make the same mistake twice. The book's pages began to flip backwards, towards the beginning. And he realized that his adventure was just beginning. The clouds parted over the Isles of Boreas. It was time to choose. The rebellion was in trouble. Ravens were scouting for the secret rebel base. They needed a game changer. Pieces of the Sky Ripper had surfaced. Or so a scholar in the mountains had told him. Surely the weapon that banished the lost gods could defeat the Emperor. Also, a temple had risen out of empty desert. The Emperor had brought the Sky Ripper pieces up out of ancient burial by his obscene rituals. Could this be where the Iblis stone was hidden? Someone better get it before he does, thought Renato. And also, his old friend Lapino needed rescuing. Of course, Renato had a pretty strong suspicion that Lapino had betrayed the rebellion. But could Renato really leave an old friend to the Ravens?
I don't know. I don't think I heard that in the first place. Maybe I wouldn't have done it. What should we do? Let's go with this
Every
right
child knew about the Sky Ripper. The Transcendent Emperor had buried its pieces. What could have brought them to light? This Emperor, Isengrim III, had once been kind, but he'd gone mad. And now he was conducting secret, obscene rituals to bring back the lost gods. Had he, somehow, summoned the long-lost components of the legendary weapon out of the deep places of the earth? It was more than Renato could fathom. But if he could find a legendary weapon, he would use it. As he set foot on the island, Renato couldn't help feeling a bit curious. Was Lapino still waiting to be rescued? No. He was probably drinking champagne with the ravens. Did ravens drink champagne? Did rabbits? Renato felt oddly thirsty, come to think of it. Why had he chosen the Sky Ripper? Renato never made plans that required constant vigilance. He was a hero. He didn't think too much. He just went with his gut and hoped it all worked out. The Sky Ripper was a long shot. He'd have to devote himself to it. No side journeys, no rescuing old friends. That was against his nature.
There we go.
Could he stick with it?
Chest here. There's some music. Nice.
Bernardo checked for a false compartment. Nope.
Let's go in here. Please let's go to the table again. So I need one more ore and 6 more fire essence. We need same with that one. Okay. I need quite a bit, and I still haven't found any gems yet. So I won't be able to come back if I go. I have a feeling when I pass that other ball.
Bernardo wondered idly if people who had built these poles had really, really long tentacles.
Okay, perfect. So either way, that was good. That was a secret I almost... No. That's scary.
Anyone ever tell you have a lovely eye? No?
Long sword.
The people who had built this castle, did they even know what monstrous weapon lay hidden within their walls? The Sky Ripper could destroy anything it touched, or so the legend said. As the Transcendent Emperor had fought the Lost Gods, thousands of thousands had died. But Bernardo had been through wars. The only merciful war was a short one. He shouldn't get impatient. He needed to take the time to figure out what all his experience had brought him.
Increase your maximum health. Run faster. Alright guys, I got my girlfriend coming home, so it's just kind of awkward when she comes here and I'm talking on the broadcast. But yeah, that's stories for you of Destiny. Like I said earlier, I got it free for one of the free games for the month, and I didn't really give it a go, and I re-downloaded it recently, and I'm really liking it, so check it out. I definitely don't think it's going to be more than 30. Definitely could be cheaper than 20 now, so check it out. Great little game. Thanks for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I definitely will probably broadcast more, maybe tomorrow or the next day. Could be the same game. I'm playing Anthem right now too, kind of jumping back and forth, a bunch of other different games, so we'll see. But yeah, take care guys, stay medicated, stay educated.